This is historic in many ways. This was an absolutely crucial and significant bilateral meeting that not just the two countries, India and China, were watching closely, but the entire world had its eyes on. For you, what did you make of the meeting, the kind of body language that the two leaders had? Clearly, not the usual hug diplomacy that we see from Prime Minister Modi, and understandably so, there was a certain message being sent across. But what did you make of the entire bilateral talk today?
Well, I think they were significant. There's no doubt about it. That when two leaders, the Prime Minister of India and the Prime Minister of China, meet for formal talks after a gap of 5 years, A, it is very important, and B, you wonder what has gone before to prevent the talks for the last 5 years, and how are you going to overcome them to continue the talks. For one thing, they have decided to renew the full gamut of relationships. For example, the special representative talks on the border issues that have been resumed after a gap of 5 years again, and the foreign minister level meetings will also resume, and the number of other interactions that have held that are there between India and China on various bilateral forums. So that's a very significant factor. But most significant of all is the breakthrough on the border in East Ladakh. Because we do know that 5 years ago, in 2020, 4 years ago, May and June 2020, there were the incidents in the Galwan Valley. We lost our soldiers, 20 of them were martyred. Chinese also lost perhaps up to 40, although they have not acknowledged that. And it was a great problem because there were 6 or 7 points along the border in East Ladakh, along the LAC, the line of actual control, where there were serious problems. And over the years, through meetings of the working committee on border and on the military level, a lot of the problems have been overcome, but 2 were outstanding: the Devsan Plain and Demchok. And these, our foreign minister had said repeatedly that unless these are solved, unless we go to the pre-2020 situation, there can be no resumption of normal relations. And 2 days ago, yesterday and day before, we heard that yes, an agreement had been reached, and the process of disengagement had been agreed upon. So this is very important, and we now are talking of disengagement first, and then possibly de-escalation on even demilitarization. But I think that this breakthrough is important. Why was it held up for all this while? Why was it not happening all this while? Is there any reason why China has now decided finally to agree to it and to agree to go back to the pre-2020 situation? I mean, it is true that China has blinked on this issue because they were holding it up for 4 years. And now, by doing so, it could be because of the Chinese economy. I think they are definitely wanting to revive their economy. Stimuluses are being offered. And for them, the trade with India is important. The investment in India is important. So I think we have to look at it from that point of view. This is the give and take. So we get the border. We hope to get even more on the border.
Absolutely, Ambassador Sikri, major domestic factors perhaps contributing more than, the global developments that are happening. Let me also welcome Pelman Grigory, Chairperson for One Future Forum on Global Mirror. Pelman Grigory, how do you see this? This was a crucial meeting between India and China that was taking place after 5 years. India has thanked the Russian president for providing us with that sort of space where both leaders could have that, bilateral meeting. But for Russia, the kind of placement that we have seen for leaders of both India and China next to President Putin clearly reflects the kind of importance that Russia places on both countries as partners.
Yes, thank you for invitation for this forum, and I think it's one of the most important event on the BRICS forum, the meeting of 2 leaders of the great countries. I think BRICS now play a very important role, not just economical community, not only the new order for political life, new order for economical life, new order for cultural life, but it's also a great and wonderful place for looking and creating the peace in the world. And the most important thing between partners in business and in diplomacy, it's trust and open relations. And BRICS summit in Kazan exactly is providing this platform just to make open and friendly relation, and the place where people can start and political leaders can start to trust each other and to talk about the future, one future, and about the peace regulations of all different conflicts. And in this case, Mr. Putin provided a very great work to support for this meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Secretary General of Xi Jinping.